Hello, Christina's World Kitchen. I'm Christina Martinez-Williams, and I am going to make something new. It is going to be really delicious, and it is high protein, low carb for sure. These are my savory garlic herb, spinach, tuna protein thins. I know it's a mouthful, but it tells you what it are. Savory garlic herb, spinach, tuna protein thins. So thins meaning like little breads. Now you can use this in so many different ways. So thumbs up, hearts, share this video. You're going to want to try this. You could use ground chicken instead of ground tuna. And make sure you save this video. It is not written yet. This recipe is brand new. I'm creating it right now as we speak. We are making it for the very first time as I've created it. And it's gonna be so good. So you could eat this with avocado. You could eat this with, you could put more cheese. There's gonna be cheese in here. You could eat it with breakfast, as toast. You could eat it dipped in Greek yogurt or in sour cream. You could use it as like the patties for hamburgers. You could slice tomatoes on it and put tomatoes on it. You could eat it with, those are lots of ideas. There you go. There's lots of ideas. You could use it as a sandwich. You could add some more protein on top. You could add a little bit more cheese on top. You could make it a sandwich. You could eat it alongside a soup, alongside of a salad. So many options. So already in my blender, I have 6 eggs and I have 4 cans of tuna, full fat white tuna. You can use whatever tuna, but full fat tuna. And I am going to add to this some spices, and then I'm going to add 2 more ingredients on top of the spices and then blend it all together. So to this, I am going to put 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm going to put this one, sorry. Tell me where you're watching from, thumbs up, heart, share this video, and tell me how you would use them. Which of those ideas that I give you sounds great. Now we're gonna use 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder. 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder. This is 1. Here is my half. 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of onion powder. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And a 1/2 teaspoon of, 3/4 teaspoon of pink salt. So 3/4 teaspoon of pink salt. 3/4 teaspoon of oregano. 3/4 teaspoon of oregano. 3/4 teaspoon of basil. That's a full. There we go. 3/4 teaspoon of basil. 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. I have all these things out. Oh my gosh. All the lids off. 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. And 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. So very savory. Very savory. I can't get my black pepper in here. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And then we actually have 3 more ingredients. So 1/4 cup of almond flour. 1/4 cup of almond flour. 8 ounces of cream cheese. 8 ounces of cream cheese. This is a full cube. This is full fat cream cheese. I do want it to be able to like get utilized as fast as possible in there to help cream it up, get it creamy. And then the last ingredient is the spinach. So 2 cups of packed spinach. 2 cups of packed spinach. So this is going to be a batter that is not liquidy, nor is it like firm, but it is going to be, it's not going to be like as together as, let's say, cookie dough, but it is going to be firmer than like a cottage cheese bread. All right, so now we're gonna put this on. I do not have the top on this because I've lost it, so this is going on here, and we are going to angle to the blender. And we're going to blend it until it is all the way smooth. Some spots that I want to push down so that there's some spots of almond flour right here, and it is actually a bit thinner than I had expected, so that's okay. All right. I did drain my tuna. That did happen. So what we're gonna do is we have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. This is a savory garlic herb spinach tuna protein thin. So like a round. Well, so you can do it rounds or you can do squares. We're gonna just say protein thin because it is a thinner batter than I had actually planned for it to be. So, which is not a problem. It's just not what I expected. So what we're gonna do is two different things. We're going to bake part of it so you can see it baked. And then we're also going to make part of it in a frying pan. So for the baked part, we have a cookie sheet or a baking sheet, and we have a piece of parchment paper that this camera is on. And we are going to pour our, like a rectangle. So you can see it's not thin, but it's also not overly thick. It's not as thin as like a cottage cheese bread, but it's not as thick as we can't form it into anything. So this much right here is gonna be in one baking sheet, and actually I might be able to go a little bit bigger because I have a good amount left. So I'm gonna go on the outside here, and then Alexa, all the way out to here. 30 minutes. This is a small baking sheet. And we are going to put this in the oven for, we're gonna check it at 18 minutes and then see where it's at. I want to eventually be able to flip it, and I might be able to flip it just to another parchment paper and cook the other side for another 5 minutes. But I do want this side to be, oh no, I didn't heat it up, to be golden. I thought I did. All right, so there are gonna be 2 ways. There's probably even more than 2 ways. We're gonna try 3 ways of making these, and you can see them all. You're not gonna see the results of this until my reel later, but you'll be able to see the results of the other right now. So we're also going to make it in a frying pan. So I'm going to use olive oil or avocado oil or coconut oil, whichever you have. And then we're going to put it in here, and then I'm going to show you one more way. And these are, so it just depends on the size and the shape that you want it and how much time you want to spend. So the oven is the shortest interaction time. You can make them all like this. It just takes more time or more frying pans to make them all by hand like this rather than in a rectangle on the parchment paper. And then we're also going to use a mini dash. And we're going to use the griddle style. So the mini dash, I'm going to replace where I had this blender plugged in. I'm going to plug in my mini dash, and we're gonna make one this way as well. So be able to see many different ways, different sizes, different styles, same batter. And we can use, the first time I always use a little bit of spray in my mini dash. After that, it's not usually necessary. So we're gonna let that heat up. Tell me where you're watching from, thumbs up, hearts, share this video. This is my new savory garlic herb spinach tuna protein thins. So they're thin, but they're going to be like a bread. And they're so high in protein because they have tuna, and they have cream cheese, and they have eggs. So all three of those together are making them have protein, and then you can add more protein if you want, or you can eat it by itself, or you can eat it on the side of something, or you can add avocado on top. There's so many different ways you can eat it, and it's going to be absolutely delicious and very savory, very savory. So we're letting these things heat up. I can't put it in the oven yet. If you're just now coming on, I will repeat the quantities for you. So we blended together 6 eggs, 4 cans of tuna in water that I drained, 2 teaspoons of 6 eggs, 4 cans of tuna, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 3/4 teaspoon of pink salt, 3/4 teaspoon of oregano, 3/4 teaspoon of basil, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and then 1/4 cup of almond flour, then 2 cups packed of spinach. So you're also getting these great nutrients from your spinach. And I think I told you everything. Yes. All right, so let's check on where we're at over here. This is still heating up, the mini dash. This is still baking. So we're not ready yet to flip anything. I'm gonna get my spatula ready though. I'm always too fast to flip. So tell me how you would eat it with avocado on top. Would you eat it dipped in Greek yogurt or low carb Greek yogurt, or in sour cream? Or would you use it alongside a soup or alongside a salad? Would you use it as for hamburger buns? Would you use it for sandwich bread? Would you use it for like you could make, slicing tomatoes on top. You could put bacon and tomato on top, like a BLT. You could use it just slices of tomato and some cheese on top, even though it already does have cheese. So many options of how to use this. Okay, I think this turned off. Time to put it in our mini dash. Don't want to overfill it. All right, now we've got multiple ways to watch it. It is getting little bubbles. I'll show you. Starting bubble, 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 bubble. And the oven is not yet preheated, so I will put that in as soon as it is. We're going to put it in the oven for 18 minutes. We can check it occasionally, and then you might need to go to 22 minutes, and then you might need to flip it. So we do want it to be golden and cooked on both sides. So if you need to flip it and cook it for another 5 minutes, that might be the case. And I have it on parchment paper, so I can put another piece of parchment paper on it, another baking sheet, and just flip, and then move it back into the oven. This is rising. We did have baking powder in here, so that's helpful. And it's almost cooking like a pancake because it has these holes that are, these pores that are opening up. I'm too scared yet to flip it because I don't think that it's quite ready. And I always, on the first one, I always mess it up. So I'm not going to do that this time. And this one, I don't think I can open it just yet. So we're going to let that be. It's getting on the sides. I can see that it's getting less liquidy here, but still a little liquidy here. But on the sides, I can see it's ready to be flipped. So it's kind of just right here that I'm watching to wait to make sure it changes before I do anything else. And then this already has spinach in it, but you could, we're probably gonna eat it with, I'm not exactly sure yet. I think everyone will eat it a little bit differently. Oh, you could also eat it for breakfast. So many options. All right, so I'm just testing the waters here. It is getting brown on the side, underneath, so I think I'm about good, but I'm gonna just make sure that it can get separated from the pan easily. This pan is starting to stick. I hate when pans shift from not sticking to starting to stick even when you put oil on them, and that is what's happening to this one. So I'm gonna have to oil it a little bit better because this pan is failing me. So it's less about this batter and more about this pan because it is definitely sticking. All right. So sad because it's stuck, but it worked. It's just stuck. So you can see that it's cooked here. We'll see how the mini dash does. So make sure you have a pan that isn't sticking and that you use enough oil. Ooh, this is almost there. The oven is ready. And now we are ready to put on the timer and make sure that we're ready to go for that. Okay. It feels good. It feels good. I just heard this go pop. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to show you this a little bit closer. And this one, I always feel like I need to flip when I'm in the mini dash. So I'm flipping that. It is well golden on that side. That's what I want to see in the oven too. I want to see that level of golden. And I have a feeling that because this is was stuck, that I'm going to have to flip it again and make sure that those sides that were still a little bit got ripped off. This isn't like that. I can taste it. Savory. Just good. All right, that's it. It's not. They're not puffy on purpose. Like that's not the goal for these. But you can see how thin they are. And this just has like another 30 seconds or so many options. I'm probably gonna, I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna use all the options to make the least amount of time for myself. All the options is what I'm gonna do. Once you get the parchment, the big one out, you can cut that into like something that's like a bigger piece, however you want. It could be just little tiny squares. It's so many options. Okay, so tell me what you would do from my house to your kitchen. Global flavors and healthy plates from around the world. Bye!